Henry Ochieng, Cork City. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Doing well. Hope you're going well as well.
I'm good. Yeah. Lockdown. How's lockdown going for you?
Yeah, it's mixed emotions. Obviously, football's my life, so having to be without it is difficult. But yeah, no, it's good to get some family time in anyway. But always football's first anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, I spotted something very interesting about you. I believe you were 13.
Yeah.
Olympic torch, London.
Yeah. That was
How did that come about?
A few while ago. I think one of my school teachers they put me forward for it just because at that time I was just doing a load of sports at quite a high level. So county cricket, county athletics, academy football, just a load of things. So they just thought that for a young person to do all of that and school, they thought it was an astounding achievement. So they just put me forward, and luckily I got chosen to do it. So that was good. That was great experience for me just to be part of that in such a prestigious occasion as well.
Yeah, definitely. You were part of the West Ham Academy, weren't you? How long were you there?
5 years. So
5 years. Yeah.
Under 10s to scholars, really. Yeah, really built my foundation of football. And pretty much took me to where I am today. Yeah.
And what players? Do you remember what players were there? Any players that make it big or?
Yeah, so we got Declan Rice, who's in the first team now.
Yeah,
he's in. He was in my my team at that age. Also Grady Diang, who is now at West Brom on loan. Joe Powell, who's on loan at he's moved to Burton now. But yeah, there's a load of players in the Premier League and in and around the Championship now from my level. So it's good to see them progress. Yeah.
Yeah, because West Ham has a good reputation actually as an academy, don't they, as well? I mean, I remember years ago they had Rio Ferdinand, Frank Lampard, Joe Cole, Michael Carrick.
Yeah.
To name but a few, I think. There's more as well.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at one stage, if they kept all those players somehow, they could have been challenging for titles, that kind of way.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one, I suppose, because you make a lot of money off these players as well, and I suppose at the time they don't realise, they might think they know, but they don't realise what levels are really going to get to as well,
Yeah.
But you moved on to Leyton Orient in 2016, is that right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And you played for a couple of seasons there. How did that go? How did you feel playing for them?
Yeah, so I started as a scholar there, and just worked my way through up. Signed my pro as a second year scholar, which was a momentous occasion just to see all that hard work from the years before coming to one. And so, yeah, easily got pushed into the first team. Played a couple of games in League Two and in the conference, and then just really kicked on from there. So it was another stage of my career where, yeah, I'm very thankful for as well.
Did you play with, actually, just have to come to me there for me, Dave Mooney?
Yeah.
Yeah, Dave played here. He's obviously Irish, but he played here with Longford Town and Cork City, believe it or not. Did you speak to him about coming to Cork?
Funny enough, I didn't speak to him.
This came to me there, actually. This wasn't in or anything. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, funny. We didn't really talk about that until after I signed. But I played with David Mooney, and what a player he was.
Yeah. I remember he was young when he was at Cork. I think he scored 15 goals in 22 games or something ridiculous like that. And he had a good career at Leyton Orient as well. He's back home now. I think he picked up an injury though, unfortunately. So I'm not sure what he's doing there. You probably know yourself, but we won't go into it. And so after that, you moved to, I think, Braintree, Welling, and Wingate and Finchley. Is that right?
Yeah. So those are sort of teams that pushed me back into where I've got from. So after Leyton Orient, after I got released, it was sort of a weird place for me because I hadn't not been in that professional environment for so long. So to have those stints just build my confidence up was a real boost. And from there, I just kicked on, and then here I am with Cork City. So that's really thankful again for those opportunities to get me back to a top level of football.
And how did the move to Cork City actually come about, Henry?
So our gaffer Neil Fenn, he was my assistant at Leyton Orient a couple of years back, We obviously had a good relationship, and he obviously kept in mind that I was obviously still around in London and still playing football. So he gave me a ring a couple months back before the season started and just said if you wanted to meet up and just discuss future plans and where I want to go with my football, and Cork City, of course. And so from there, it was just a quick movement into a deal, really, because I felt that it was such a big opportunity for such a big club that it was pretty much impossible to turn down. So yeah, I followed him over, and yeah, here we are.
What was your first impressions of Cork City when you got there? Or the city or the club, or both, actually?
Yeah, so I've never been to Ireland before, so that as soon as I came here, that was my first time, and it wasn't too much dissimilar to London or areas around London. So I like the things that are so close together. So everything's within a 15-minute drive, and then that's especially being in London, it'll take about 4 hours to get from one side to the other. So yeah, no, I love that sort of aspect of it, that everyone knows everyone knows everyone. And so it really welcomed me into the town, really. Yeah. And then Cork City was such a surprise, especially the first game and the fans and everything. I just couldn't believe it because I didn't know what to expect when I came over. But yeah, it really did do it justice when people were talking about it before.
Sorry. Yeah. So your impressions of Cork were obviously very good. I was just thinking there when you're talking that London obviously is a big city. Cork is a city, but it's not. It's small, so it kind of doesn't really prepare you, I suppose, for Cork. But at the same time, you're not moving to somewhere really, really small. So I suppose also you moved over. A couple of English players did come over as well, and I believe some of them are from London as well. Is that right? Is Darlin from London as well?
Yeah, Darlin, Joseph Alowu. So yeah,
at Arsenal, yeah.
Yeah.
So does that help you when you come over as well, or do you help each other to try and settle in quicker? Or
yeah, definitely, because obviously we know we're coming into a different culture, different place, and obviously being from London, we're like-minded. So yeah, we just helped each other out, especially that we're in the same house together. So it's really good for us to just be emergent, but also live with other people from Ireland, just like Dara O'Connor, she's been outstanding in just helping us understand everything around Cork, taking us around, seeing all the places around. So yeah, I think it's a fine balance between not being too Londony, but being open to the culture of Ireland, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you noticed anything? I think you've played 2 games for Cork City so far. Is that right?
No, 5. All 5. Yeah. All 5.
But you personally played 2, or am I wrong? You played in all 5.
Yeah, played all 5.
You played in all 5. Okay, fair enough. If you should, do you notice any difference then between the football you played in England and the football you play in Ireland? Is there any difference stylistically, or what do you see?
I don't think there's much difference.
I thought so.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is the age of the players. The average age, I would say, is much lower over here than England, because you get a lot of older senior pros still in the game. But I think that'll probably be the biggest difference between football in England and football in Ireland.
Yeah, actually, the Cork City side itself is very, very young. I think Gareth Morrissey's there. He's 28. He's a leader. He's won cups and won the championship with Cork. But you could be one of the oldest players nearly. There's an awful lot of guys between 19 and 23 playing for Cork City, put it that way.
Yeah.
And is that a good thing, do you think, or does it really matter? Age doesn't really matter, does it, when it comes to
in football, age doesn't really matter. If you're good, you should be playing that, and you can see that throughout the Premier League and other leagues around Europe. You get 17, 18, 19-year-olds playing in the first team and doing very well. So I think that's what Neil's gone with, and that's what Cork's gone with, because they've seen potential in a lot of us, and they know that we can do a job, and so that's why we're here.
Yeah, I suppose the difficult side of it is, and especially when 4 or 5 games in and the football is stopped, Cork City are one of the newer squads in the league, as in they've a lot of new players, so it's difficult to get that gel early on in the team, and then when you have this, stop now after 5 games, that makes it a bit more difficult, doesn't it? Because you're at home, obviously. Everyone else is at home wherever they are, be it in Ireland or England or whatever, and it's the tactical side and the getting to know each other's side on the pitch that's, probably more detrimental to the likes of Cork City than most of the teams in the league, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. But we all speak one language. We speak football. So as soon as we got to know each other a few weeks in after pre-season, we started to gel automatically. But with anything like that, it will take time. And so obviously we could see from the first few games, it wasn't our best start to the season. But as the few games progressed, we definitely progressed as a team as well, mentally, definitely as well. So I think it will just be a matter of time before everything starts to click into place.
Because go on,
no, just click into place and really work for us.
Yeah, in the last few games, you definitely started to play a bit better and got a bit tighter, I think, at the back. That's probably more of a team thing. But I think you were beaten 1-0 at Pats, which was a tight game. And you actually beat Finn Harps, I think, the previous week, 1-0 at home, which was a big win, probably, and a big confidence boost, because to get the first win, and Finn Harps can be a very awkward side to play against, I can tell you that. And you probably learned that a bit as well. They're a tough side to play against. Pats would be a bit more of a footballing side, I suppose. Yeah. And how did you find the differences between the teams actually so far? Did you think there was a much difference in terms of the styles of the teams that came up against so far? I know Shamrock Rovers and Dock are the top teams in the division, and you probably noticed the quality of those sides. But the other sides, did you notice much of a difference between the way they play football?
Not too dissimilar, in fact. Yeah, so I think a lot of teams have the same ethos and same tactics, which I really admire. It's really getting the football on the floor and really playing. And so I think that's easier for us, as we're not going to, say, a team in Dublin where they're kicking the ball long and we're having to fight for scraps, or coming down south to then play football on the floor. It's not too much change in the way we'll have to train or the tactics that we'll have to change. So I think it's very good in that way as well. Yeah,
so your first game at Turner's Cross was obviously against Shelbourne. Unfortunately, you lost in the last couple of minutes, I believe, in that game. But what was the atmosphere like in Turner's Cross that night? Did it surprise you?
Yeah, it was rocking, especially the shed. Obviously been hearing things about the shed and finally come out to that. It was immense, and to see the crowd really come behind us and support us when they don't know us. So it was really powerful and moving, and really motivated us all. So yeah, it was great.
Who would you say now, Henry, was the biggest influence in your career? Be it a coach, be it a relative, or whoever?
I get asked this question a lot, but I don't. It's ever just one single person.
Yeah,
it's a series of people that really just built me into who I am. So yeah, I've taken a lot of advice and knowledge from different people and then just built it into one.
Did you always want to be a footballer?
Yeah, from the moment I could even remember. Yeah, so I was always playing. Yeah, it was just always my dream.
And actually, if there's any young people watching when I put this video out, because there can be guys that are 15, 16, what advice would you give them if they do play a bit of football?
Yeah, I think the biggest advice for any footballer, and a lot of people I don't think have had this advice, is just to always work hard and just never stop. If this is your dream, there's always a way.
Never think you've made it, I suppose, as well.
Never. Because once your ego starts to creep in, that's when cracks in your armor start to show, and things just won't go as well as you want. But yes, it's a mental game as well as it is a physical game. So practicing that mentality of always just keeping your feet on the ground and being humble, even at your greatest moments and even your lowest moments, is probably the biggest and hardest thing in football. So for any young footballer, just always think of that in the back of their mind, that no matter how far you are, how close you are to your dream, there's always ways to push ahead.
Yeah, I always find it difficult to understand how, say, Premiership football, for example, you get some young players and they're on huge money nearly straight away. I just find it hard. How do they motivate themselves if they're on huge money immediately? Because technically, you've actually made it. Do you know what I mean? If you're making big money, you feel mentality, you've probably made it. And as well as that, if you're 18, 19 and earning so much money, like, how do you deal with that mentally as well? I always find that must be a very difficult challenge, and you're in the public eye. I'm talking about the highest level now, say like Premiership football as an example, because the money there is insane at times, isn't it? But that must be very difficult for a young person. Would you know anyone who is on that kind of money over the Premiership personally, or without mentioning names now?
No, definitely without mentioning names. I know people
obviously.
from the age of probably even 17 upwards on ridiculous money, but I think it was more so the people around them that helped them, because obviously at that young age you're not mentally matured enough to know what to do with this this kind of money that not even many people see in their lifetime. So it's down to the people behind the scenes, you would say, just to guide them. But ultimately it's your choice, it's the player's choice what to do with it, but it's just down to their background and the people that help them.
In relation to Cork City as well, actually before that, who's the best player you played against so far in your career?
I'd say Josh McEachran from Brentford.
Interesting. Yeah, because go on ahead. Yeah, tell you in a minute.
He played in a pre-season game for Leyton Orient, and I just remember coming up against him, and just the way he moved and the brain he had was just immense. And I've always kept an eye on him and how he's doing. But he was a very class player that I would say was the hardest opponent I've ever come against.
Yeah, because I'm a Chelsea fan as well, by the way. But I remember he was at Chelsea, and I believe he played for Ancelotti when he was 17 or 18.
Yeah.
And but he never quite, I don't know what happened really, but he never quite obviously stuck at that level, or I don't know what happened, but he had ability to make it. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it's interesting you pick him out because, you're right, he has got a lot of ability as well. He's a very, very good player. He's still making a good career for himself.
Yeah, definitely.
But, at one point you thought he could make it with Chelsea, which would have been huge for him. So that's the best player he played against. Who's the best player he played with? Josh McEachran.
I'd say I think Joby McAnuff from Leyton Orient.
I remember him.
Stints in the Premier League and Championship. I think him as a player, just so professional, especially at his age now, just so physically and mentally fit that you just wouldn't imagine it at that age. But I think such a professional on and off the pitch that his playing style just suited every team that he went to, and I think definitely the best player I played with.
Was he at? Where was he at? Was it Palace, West Ham, or Wimbledon?
Reading and a few places. Reading, I think
one of them anyway. I think. I can't remember which one he was at, but I do remember him. He'd be in his 30s at this stage, would he?
Yeah.
He would be. Yeah. But I remember him as well. I'm old enough to remember him when he played younger. Right. So Cork City, the most skillful player he played with or trained with at Cork City. I think I know, but I'm not going to say. Go on ahead.
I'll say Corey Galvin, skillful. Yeah.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, his feet.
I thought you were going to say Dylan McGlade.
No. It's a close call, but I'd say Corey. Corey.
Yeah. The grumpiest person in the squad.
Grumpiest. I'll say
there's a few grumpy guys down in Cork.
Yeah, there's a few. I'll say Dylan on that one. Dylan's always getting the end of the stick on that one. Yeah.
It's not because Corey Galvin's the most skillful player in the squad.
He will after he sees this one. Yeah.
Who's the hardest trainer?
Hardest trainer, Charlie Fleming. Yeah.
Charlie Fleming. Yeah, he's coming from Cove Ramblers, I believe, as well. Yeah. So who's the comedian in the squad?
Comedian Alec Byrne. Yeah.
Alec Byrne. Yeah. Who would you say is the biggest leader of the team, do you think, or is there a few people you would pick out as being leaders?
Chops. Chops is just with experience and age. I think he's basically.
And before we go, Henry, I think I'd better ask you, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Just hardworking. I think that just the foundation of everything, whether that's in all attributes of the game, mentally, physically, tactically, just hard working. I think that'll be the biggest attribute of myself and how I describe myself. Yeah.
And you're obviously a central midfield player primarily. Is there anywhere else you've played in your career,
or? Not necessarily. It's predominantly been centre midfield. Obviously, I started off as a striker when I was younger, but obviously that's
everybody starts off as a striker when you're younger.
But my whole footballing professional career, I've been a centre midfielder. Yeah.
Very good, very good. And obviously, you play with Morrissey in the midfield.
Yeah.
How influential do you feel he is for the Cork City side?
Huge, definitely. Just he builds that gap between the fans and the players and the club. So on and off the pitch, he's just a huge part of Cork City. Yeah.
Well, that's great, Henry. Thanks very much for coming on. Really enjoyed that. Got a bit of crack area at the end as well.
Yeah.
Thanks a million. Nice to see you later.
Cheers, Lee. See you.